You know what? It's been a while since I've come out the rock I live under. Let's see what's popping outside. Mmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I can cap off my thoughts on this game similarly to how I did with Frontiers, an okay game that I hardly ever want to play again. No!
Welp. Rumor has it that Sonic Heroes is getting an Unreal Engine 5 remake. Something to know about me is that I do not take the word remake lightly. When that word is brought up into the mix, I am expecting nothing less than a from the ground up revision of the game. And I will be approaching this discussion with those expectations given the rumors are true. I don't take any of this as fact, but as possibility. With that said, let's get right to discussing. Now, why Sonic Heroes? Well, from what I hear, people are coming to the conclusion that because Sonic Heroes was initially received well and before Frontiers, held the title of being the best-selling 3D title, apparently. Going off of Sega's track record so far of remastering the generally well-received Sonic titles, Heroes is next up, ripe and ready. I feel that it was likely after 06 that people started to look back on Heroes a bit more scornfully, trying to figure out the turning point of where it all started to go wrong and whatnot. My personal feelings on Sonic Heroes were just recently clarified, but to summarize, I think Heroes is just barely an okay game. Heroes has a lot, and I do mean a lot, going for it, which I praised throughout my video revisiting it. The team-up mechanic is undeniably a fun idea, and it is satisfying switching when appropriate to keep the flow of gameplay and speed. The level-up system quickening the process of wiping out enemies and getting over level mechanics is really neat, and I like the idea of characters getting stronger the more capable as you progress. Why did I trip up there? What was that about? Anyway, moving on. It's a great incentive to get through levels without losing a life, as well as you lose all your levels on every character if you do, losing out on the chance to get a quicker run as a result. The level themes and art style present in Heroes are an absolute standout in this series, with the game being one of the most unique on a visual note as a result, and then of course, the music bangs. Again, Heroes has some good stuff going for it. For me though, the negatives nearly weigh down the experience as much as the positives lift it, unfortunately. Slippery controls, mechanical jank, repetitive level design, bad boss fights, and even worse special stages, yada yada, probably not anything new you haven't heard complained about before when it comes to this game. The complaints may sound small on a list where I'm stating them one at a time, but when you're playing the game and are dogpiled by all of them at once, you may begin to realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm not having fun! Basically, there's just about as much to like about Heroes as there is to dislike about it, and that makes me hopeful for a possible remake. Now, of course, I'm going to want the usual stuff that comes with remakes, that just kind of come with the territory, graphical upgrades, quality of life improvements, all that good stuff. That's not the bulk of what I want to talk about though, so I'm gonna brush all the typical stuff aside and get to what it is I really wish to discuss. If we're truly getting a remake here, then it shouldn't be off the table to anticipate them taking the same ideas present in the original game and implementing them differently, ideally in better ways. One thing I could think could be done better is the overall structure of Heroes. The original game presents you with a selection of 4 teams. Going off of the adventure games, there's something of an insinuation that you're promised 4 stories to follow, when really you'd pretty much just experience the same story, only with different characters. The teams are essentially overglorified difficulty levels, with Team Chaotic sorta being the only exception to that. Not a good exception though. You play the same exact levels in the same exact order and fight the same bosses in the same order, only with varying degrees of difficulty regardless of what team you choose, is what I'm getting at. Which isn't inherently a bad thing in of itself, right? But it's a Sonic Team game, so hold on, there's more. Firstly, let's start with the way these teams are framed in the select menu. Team Sonic is up first, being furthest to the left, and they are the game's normal difficulty. Given that it is a Sonic game, I can't get too mad at the team consisting of the man himself being first presented. From here though is where my eyebrows start raising. Team Dark is second up, and they act as the game's hard mode. Hard mode after normal mode, okay, standard stuff. Team Rose, the game's easy mode. The hell happened there? Assuming you're playing the teams in order of appearance, you normie, Team Rose would be the third you play. By this point, you would have already experienced the game in both normal and hard mode. Why would you need an easy mode? Miguel, get over yourself. They're just difficulty options as you yourself noted, so what's the big deal? Is that what we're thinking here? I noted them that way because that's how I view them, but that isn't how the game does. Sonic Heroes has a final story, and there is no other way to unlock it than to collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds and finish all 4 team campaigns. At that point, they aren't treated as simply difficulty options, but as pieces of a larger whole that are all meant to conclude. It's dumb. Many have complained about this over time, and the general counter arguments are just ignore the other stories, or don't play all the game in one sitting and just come back to the other stories with other play sessions and whatnot. I'm not going to debate these points. I simply don't like it and do not feel inclined to defend that. It's an opinion. Take it as it is. I hope this is addressed in some way, but not the way I see people usually want it to be. The most common take I see on this is you finish one story, and as long as you gather the several emeralds within that story, you unlock the final story, which I feel is more of a quality of life approach to it. I'm not settling for quality of life. Give me incentive to play as all the team campaigns, make them more distinct from one another. I don't know why I was tripping up there. Even something as simple as swapping the order of the levels you visit or the bosses you fight would go a decent way in achieving that. Don't make me do the same exact things in the same exact order! Ugh! If it's a remake, then I don't think I'm off my gourd here, hoping that they can diversify the movesets of the teams entirely. Give the player different movesets to work with, and tailor the levels of each team's campaign around that. That would go a massive ways toward making the game overall less repetitive, and the remake allows for the chance of that happening. That this will ultimately aim to be nothing but a faithful one-to-one visual upgrade, doing the bare minimum if anything at all to improve the original release. Oh wait, oops. I think I might have swapped my fear notes with the expectation ones. What's the difference anyway? This is Sega we're talking about. My actual fear is that this could be another Sonic Colors Ultimate situation. No, I have not gotten over that. I'm hoping that it isn't. I don't want to live in a world where a remake of Sonic Heroes manages to be worse than the original. Let's not have that happen. Okay, Sega, let's not have that happen. Let's maybe not have that happen. Okay, but yeah, this discussion is only just getting started, as now it's time I hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on a Sonic Heroes remake? Are you dreading it? Are you looking forward to it? Have you got any hopes or fears of your own? Let's discuss. But yeah, that's the video. Thanks for hearing me out. Miguel signing off. I'm going to take a moment to call out me messing up that figure of speech there. It's out of your gourd, not off your gourd. I should have said, I don't think I'm out of my gourd instead of off my gourd. Alright, I called myself out. Call out complete. Moving on.